Today we commenced a search for the body of Robert Atkins at Peak Road at this location. Over recent months we've reduced an area from about 150 square kilometres down to an area of about 8 to 10 square kilometres where we believe the body of Robert may be located. The investigation has progressed extremely well to the point that we know the routes that Robert went in his final hours, and I can also tell you today that we believe that on Robert's final day he was brought to an area very close to where we stand and he was walked into the scrub where he was murdered. We believe that the offender most likely did a very lazy concealment on the day and most likely covered Robert's body with some loose brush before returning several days later to this area, and where we believe he came back to actually better conceal his body. So today we've had about 40 officers drawn from Task Force Southern, from York Mid-North District and from Transit Branch, and our communications people out here, and we've done a number of searches. These searches will continue over a period of days. We don't have a set time frame. We'll take as long as it takes to thoroughly search this area and be confident that we've either found Robert's body or that his body is not in this area. If that should happen, there are other areas out further where we also need to search, but they've all been prioritised and they'll be done in the coming days and the days and weeks after that if necessary.
Is this a bit of a breakthrough for you? Were you unsure exactly when he was loaded or perhaps loaded into this Pathfinder, whether he was alive or not?
It's difficult to know whether, when Robert came here, whether he was brought here under pretext and coercion for another reason, but we do know that in his final moments that he was walked into the scrub, most likely against his will, and that's where he was murdered.
Can you talk us through how he was murdered yet, or that's...
No, we won't be releasing the details of how we believe Robert was killed.
And can you give us any idea about why they might have come here?
One of the people who we suspect may be directly responsible is from the Mid-North originally. We believe the killer's familiar with this area, and as you would expect, people wouldn't come to this location unless they were familiar with the area.
In regards to this search area, can you talk us through just how difficult it is, this landscape, the dangers that the police are facing just coming out here in this heat, in these conditions?
Oh, it's not dangerous, but it's a bit of a slog because it's hot, it's windy, it's dusty, but we're happy to do that. We'll do anything we can to find Robert. So we've deployed today. Today's a bit shorter day, but tomorrow we'll be starting early at about 7 o'clock, and we'll have a full day tomorrow in a very large area to do tomorrow, and then we'll continue into the coming days.
How many people do you suspect brought Robert out here and then returned
One.
to conceal?
One.
And can you talk us through what tomorrow's search will look like? Will you get down in creeds? Do you know that yet?
We've got different areas within this 10 square kilometre area where we've prioritised, and so the people we've got are being divided up into specialist search teams, and they'll be allocated different areas, and they'll go to the areas of highest probability first, and then we'll gradually work through the other areas.
And in terms of the search, can you just tell us how officers are searching? I just saw some motorbikes come in.
Yeah, we've got a couple of motorbikes that are doing some of the more open areas, but we basically form up into big search teams. We've got specialist search coordinators from Star Group, and they do an excellent job. So by the time we're finished, we will have been able to map this area, and we'll be confident that every square inch has been searched.
Have you searched this area before? Is this the first time you've sort of had a look?
We've come to this area before, and we've done a number of wells and ruins and things like that, but we haven't actually physically searched the area.
Has anything of interest been found thus far, like tyre marks or anything?
There's tyre marks in different locations, but it's hard to tell whether they're related to us or people coming out here hunting and things like that. But we've got some pretty distinct areas to search, and as I say, we've narrowed down from a very large area to a relatively small area, and it's completely achievable to find Robert if he's in this area.
I was just going to ask that, given that you have narrowed it down, are you actually really confident that there might be a breakthrough imminent?
I've been disappointed lots of times before. I'm as confident as you can be, and we've committed a lot of resources to find him, and we wouldn't commit the resources if we didn't think there was a good chance.
Can we reiterate how important it is for his family that he's found, and also for Kate?
Yeah, it's horrible to lose a loved one in any circumstances. If it's a violent death, it's worse, and then it's worse again if they're not recovered. And he's got a family and friends who care about him, and we need to do, and we will do everything humanly possible to find Robert and to prosecute the people responsible.
This story has gone on a long time, dating back to 2020. So can you just give us an update on where we're at with what charges have been laid, or if charges have been laid, and who's in custody in connection to this case?
Well, as you know, we've got multiple homicide cases we're looking at, and we're reviewing other deaths to see if they're suspicious. So we've got a investigation strategy which is looking at all of those. And whilst it might look like nothing much is happening, I'm really pleased the way the investigation's going. The investigation into Robert's death has gone extremely well, and some of the people who are involved are in custody for other offences and have been arrested during the course of Operation Southern, of Task Force Southern.
Do you have a message for those that might know anything about these final movements?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you have a message for those that may have helped this one person in terms of Robert's final days and movements?
Yeah, look, there's no doubt the offender responsible for this has told people what he's done. There's a lot of people who know what happened. There may be people who know where Robert is. There may not. But if anybody does know, we'd encourage them to come forward. There is a $200,000 reward for information leading to the conviction. But importantly, there's also up to a $200,000 reward for information. You want to do it again? There's also a $200,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of Robert's remains. So that should be good motivation for people to assist and to ring Crime Stoppers if they know where his body is.
Thanks, boss.